Go.
So we were sitting there, it's Valentine's Day, it's me and my ex, and so I bought her all these awesome gifts, and they're really expensive. I was, at the time, did not have a job or shit. I was quite poor. And so I bought her all this shit, and I'm like, oh, hey, we have a chocolate. No, it wasn't chocolate, but it was a cookie, and it was like one of the best cookies like I've ever had. And I'm like, I'll give it to her because it's in the shape of a heart. I hand it to her, and she literally grabs it, goes, and breaks it on her knee, and goes, if you give me this, I'm gonna go stomp on it and burn it in my backyard.
I need to go.
So she stomped on it and says, I'm gonna burn this in my backyard. And I'm like, oh, wow, okay. So I walked upstairs, I threw it on the counter, and my parents go, I thought you were gonna give that to Courtney. I go, yeah, Courtney broke my cookie heart. So later on, so that's, you know, that might not be that bad. Oh, whatever. It's just your girlfriend. Well, no, she's selfish in that way. She called all of my gifts shit, and then she told me, oh, I didn't even pick out your gift. I was too lazy. I don't care. I used to have my dad do it. So I'm just like, what? Later, that's all she did for the dates too. Whenever I let her, I was like, hey, how would you choose the dates tonight? She's like, okay, let me just ask my dad. I'm like, nigga, it's supposed to be your choice. And then later on, I took her to my favorite restaurant ever, and I sit her down, and I'm like, oh, and she's talked about how good the food is while I'm there. As soon as we get home, she starts bragging. I don't know what she was doing. She was like trying to impress my parents on how picky she was or some shit. And she was like, oh, I hate it so much. It was worst day ever. I can't believe Chandler wasted all that money on me. And she was like, I wanted to kiss her at one point, and she was like, and just laughed at me, and laughed for like 10 minutes as I stood there awkwardly, just waiting for her to stop laughing because I wanted to kiss her. So I was kind of like, oh, bitch. And it kept going on, and it was just like, wow, okay. And she was just a bitch to me all night. She talked about how much she hated the movie we were watching, and I said, let me change it then. We'll pick a movie I know you like. And she just complained about how I was being too like sensitive or shit. And then when I went, I was just like, okay, whatever. And then when I wouldn't change it, she complained about how I wouldn't change it for her, and I'm like, okay, I'll change it. And oh god, she was a bitch. And then I broke up with her, and then it was like the worst thing ever. I told my friend that I was breaking up with her. It was like this giant plan. Like I literally told all of my friends but her. And one of my friends, being the little asshole he is, went and told her that I was breaking up with her. So she's glaring at me. I'm like, oh shit, she must know. So I walked up to her, and she starts biting my head off about how if I break up with her over a text, she's going to kill me. She's going to find me and kill me. So I told her, you know, I looked at her and go, you know what, Courtney, fuck you. We're not gonna break over text. I'm not dating you. And I walked out, and she was yelling at me, walking through the school, yelling at me, and I'm just walking away, not paying attention to shit she says. I got in my car, and me and my friend look at each other, and we go, that was cool. And
Who's the friend?
it was Presley.
Oh.
Menel was the one who told Menel, the little shithead, was the one who told Courtney.
I'm liking this.
Okay, so one time I was in class, and Courtney walks up to me, and I had a pretty good relationship with Courtney because we were pretty good friends. Fuck, not sexy. You're gonna edit that out. So she walks up and she goes, you know what your cousin did? And I'm like, what did my cousin do? Because they were dating at the time, Chandler and Courtney. And
was this in drama class?
Yeah.
Okay, I remember.
So he goes, or looks like a he, but she goes, she goes, your cousin, he tripped me, and keep in mind she's in crutches. He's like, he tripped me, and then said, fuck off, and pushed me on the ground when I was in crutches. And then when I asked him to help up, he said, fuck off, again. So then I walk up, I'm like, okay, my cousin would not do that. And she's like, well, ask him. So I got there after school, his brother takes me home. So I'm talking to Chandler, I'm like, did you do that? And he goes, no. And then there's been many instances like that have happened in drama class with stuff like that. And then she spread it around the school, the whole rumor. So everyone thinks that my cousin's a dick, but really, he would never even do something like that.
That's it?
Yeah.
That's all you had to say?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yep.
It was my ex, and we were once again with my ex, and it was during Christmas. It was the first Christmas that we were dating, and she, like, her brother had died during that time of year, about like 2-3 years before that. I felt horrible. Like I always felt bad for her about this, and like she's not self-centered about this, but like she was just like so drawn away by that. And she listen, fuck up. I'm gonna explain it. You're shut the fuck up.
You're talking about her being self-centered because
no, I did. Okay, you clearly aren't listening.
Brother died.
Shut up. Keep going.
Anyway, so that's not the reason why she was self-centered, but like she just like the way that she would just paraded around. Like, she wasn't sad at all when she would parade around. Like, she was not, there was no remorse or anything or sadness in her voice. No, she would parade around like it was something happy to be about. Like, my brother died, your brother didn't. It's like, so it was kind of like, I felt bad for her. Like, I really like, in fact, I during those times I prayed for her every night. And, but she was like, she would parade around at school like, oh yeah, my brother died at this time of year. Yours did? Sucks for you. I'm just like, what are you doing? And she was always just such a drama queen. Like that one story with her, apparently me pushing her down the stairs, or like even when then, like she would make up stories about someone telling her to break up with her.
You're funny happy with like a saber. Look at you. Going.
But she was always just like so like just set up with herself. Like she'd make up stories about how me and her were about to break up, and she'd cry, like literally cry for like 2 hours. And
I can confirm this.
And it was just like, I'm sure it was fake crying, because when I saw her again, she was like, looked happy as shit. I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And she's like, you were gonna break up with me, like laughing her ass off. I'm like, what the hell? So, and she would always make up so shitty stories like that. And she was just so like, she'd make up shit and like lie about her having pains just so people would like draw attention. She was an attention whore. Like, she was even in drama, and she was like a super attention whore. Oh shit.
Okay. Go.
She would always claim that she didn't wear any makeup at all, and then I believed her. But the whole thing, like, she just wears, like, I went to my cousin's house, and she was just so like Brooke just kept staring, and I'm like, what's wrong? And she goes, later on she whispered to me, God, your girlfriend wears shit tons of makeup. And I go, no, she told me that she didn't wear any, and occasionally she'd wear a little, and she goes, no, that is not natural. And then she'd spike. She had super fucking short hair, like it was shorter than like most of my friends. And I'm just like, what the fuck? And she had it long, like just like this long in the back, and she'd spike it, and it was, oh, it hurt so badly to try and hug her with that. Oh, it was so painful, and her hair was so fake feeling. It was nasty. But yeah.
Go.
Presley and Neckbeard sitting in a tree. Master A-A-A-A-T.
Later, little bitch.